What's clear is that really very little is clear. There's a lot of information and disinformation, but what we're being told is that more and more, despite what they're saying publicly, the United States is becoming resigned to the fact that Israel will attack Rafah. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has already publicly said that he intends to go in and finish the military operation, whether there's a ceasefire or not. Now, the US, of course, has cautioned against this, but more and more it looks as though it will happen. We're being told the United States is at least saying to Israel that they want them to evacuate around 800,000 Palestinian civilians first and take them outside the combat area. Already a refugee centre is being established. Some 40,000 tents have been erected to house these people if they can be brought out. But we're also hearing that Israel is massing around 1,000 tanks and fighting vehicles on the outskirts of Rafah, waiting for an attack. We're told the Israeli army has said its preparations are complete, it's ready to go. It's simply waiting for the order from Prime Minister Netanyahu. We've also been hearing that there are talks between Egypt and Hamas. Now, of course, Rafah is in the very south of Israel. It's next to a border between Israel and Egypt. There is a border fence, and we're told that Egypt has been talking to Hamas, asking them what their intentions are, whether they intend to blow up that fence to allow people to flee from any fighting into Egypt. Now, Egypt, of course, doesn't want that to happen. Egypt does not want to be caught up in this and make it a more regional problem. So it's appealing to Hamas to provide escape routes for its civilians in other directions, going back into Israel. But of course, if fighting begins, people will flee in any direction. Now, Israel came up with this offer of a ceasefire in exchange for the release of 33 Israeli hostages. That was women, children and elderly and the sick. And in return, they said that they would free hundreds of Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. They also said that they would allow displaced Gazans who've been pushed to the south to return to their homes in the north. And they said they would withdraw the Israeli army from an east-west corridor that they've established, effectively cutting Gaza in two. Hamas came back and said they wanted further concessions. They wanted cast iron guarantees that any ceasefire would not be temporary, but would be permanent and leading to the end of the war. And they also said that they wanted assurances guaranteed by third-party countries like the US, like Egypt, like Qatar, that in fact that Israel would not resume attacks on Hamas after hostages had been released. They wanted a guarantee that that was the end of the war. That may be a sticking point for Israel, which has always said that its intention is to destroy the Hamas leadership. US Secretary Antony Blinken is in Israel today. He's had meetings, of course, with the Prime Minister. He's been to see the families of hostages that have US connections. He's also touring a port where foreign aid is brought into Israel and a border crossing where it goes into Gaza. He continues to urge Hamas to accept the Israeli proposals, which he says are incredibly generous. Hamas is saying back to him, don't put pressure on us. We'll make up our own minds.